Hi, everyone. I am thrilled to be with you all today. I know this is a virtual event, but I can feel the energy seeping through the walls of my laptop. My name is Jennifer Cannizzaro. I'm our VP of Product Marketing at Responsive, and I am your humble host today, joined by two rock stars, Victoria Bokhari at Tenable and Sheryl Frye at NTT Data. Now, you may have noticed there's a little bit of theme to this event around music and bands, so we're repping underneath our fancy clothes our favorite bands, Metallica, Joan Jett, and Queen, respectively. Now, these rock stars that we have on the panel today are scaling knowledge far and wide across their organizations, a theme that you've heard a lot about today. And they're doing it on a global scale. So I'd love to set the stage here. Vicky, starting with you, chatting about really the lay of the land at Tenable and the scope of what you're managing.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you to all those who are watching today. It's an exciting time in the proposal world. Just for a little bit of background, Tenable is a cybersecurity software company focusing on enterprise risk management solutions. I lead the global proposal team here at Tenable, and I created this department 9 years ago. My first order of business was find a collaboration tool for RFPs. After a thorough vetting process, we made the decision to go with Responsive, and I was customer number 32, back when Responsive was a proverbial garage band. And that was about 8.5 years ago. At that time, Tenable had 2 products. Now we have 12. And we're handling all types of buyer inquiries across the business because our knowledge and knowledge base is that expansive after having this tool for so many years. Our sales department we support our sales department, we support our cybersecurity department, and our legal department. And our work has impacted company growth from 187 million to 900 million in annual revenue. And we support approximately 900 sellers globally. That translates into 2,600 RFPs and security questionnaires annually. And our knowledge base has 43,000 assets contained within Responsive.
That's incredible. And we had to put some big numbers on the slide so everyone could really take that in. But what a transformation that you've been driving. I know it hasn't been an overnight success. It's something you've really been building over the years. And Sheryl, you've got an incredible story as well. Dazzle us with some of your impact.
Thanks, Jennifer. And welcome to our virtual Rockstar group. We sell data centers at NTT Global Data Centers. We're the number 3 data center globally. And those are kind of popular right now. Everybody seems to like the internet and AI, and all of those things tend to live in a data center of some kind. Companies really want to know that they can trust us. So all the information that we provide in our proposals and our security audits has to be spot on. We have 160 data centers spanning more than 20 countries worldwide. And those numbers just keep continuing to grow. So I expect that our database of knowledge is going to continue to just expand and expand and expand.
Well, that's incredible. And certainly thousands of questions and multi-millions in value is something to be proud of. And you're busy, but you're busy driving growth, right? So, knowledge is the topic du jour. And Sheryl, you have been on this journey. You both have. You told me that when you started, you were primarily focused on RFPs. Your subject matter experts were sales and product. Fast forward to today, everybody knows you. You've taken on more scope. This is something that I think is could be a challenge, but is in reality an opportunity for our audience out there today. Can you take us through the from to of how you really expanded both your knowledge base and the use cases that then tap into it, to use that favorite word, democratize across your organization?
Absolutely. So yes, when I started, our main consumer of our knowledge database was sales, and I assume that's kind of the typical for most companies. So I was talking to our sales engineers, I was talking to our salespeople, and then as I started to understand the data that we were giving to our clients more, I ended up talking more with our operations teams, with the people that are on the ground building the data centers. So, construction, design, people that are all around the world, dreaming up what's next in the data center world. And they wanted to know where that data was going, of course. And so we started giving more and more access, assigning them as owners of that data so that they could make sure it was up to date. And they loved it because all of a sudden we went from just data on a spreadsheet to a live knowledge database that they can update, they can maintain, and they can access so that if folks are asking them questions, they make sure that that data is the same every time. I ended up spending a lot of time talking with kind of the top brass, getting their buy-in, making sure that we had the correct subject matter experts. And that has gone a long way to building that rapport, and making sure that we had the best people possible for our answers.
That's fantastic. And I think you mentioned also you've taken on ESGs and you're kind of always on the lookout for more places where you can use this. What I love about what you're saying is that I think oftentimes you hear, oh, there's more volume, there's more we have to do. And it's this like, woe is me sort of mentality. But your mindset is so empowering, which is, hey, we can take on more scope to put this knowledge to work in more places. And it's good for the business because we've talked a lot about the foundation of that knowledge base. And then when you're able to use it in more places, you get that consistency and quality and scale at every touch point. And that's something that you've recognized and taken on proactively for the business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the business has really responded to having a center of knowledge trust, knowing that our team holds all that information and that they need to keep us updated when things change or something new comes online, has really gone a long way to making our team more effective.
Vicky, turning it over to you. With all this talk about knowledge, there's one type of knowledge where we haven't really been talking about as much, which is the knowledge that you have about your market and your customers. You truly have this lens inside or into the buyer's mind with what you're seeing transpire in these information exchanges through RFPs, questionnaires, and otherwise. You've really been able to take that insight and materially improve your go-to-market operations, your customer experience, your rep experience. Tell me a little bit more about that type of knowledge and how you're putting it to work.
Sure. It's a very exciting time for proposal teams around, especially mine. I feel that we are at the precipice of an evolution as our team transitions from being operational, a reactive team, proposals in, proposals out, to a more strategic partner with our leadership groups within our company. We're able to bring strategic insights to our leadership teams to help drive business. And here's how: since we have visibility into what the buyers are asking, we can take that information and we can summarize it and collaborate with leadership and identify what the customers are interested in and what trends that we're seeing in the early part of the sales cycle. So, as proposal team members, all of us have that insight. We know what our customers want as far as what software they like, what kind of technical features they like, what kind of things they're looking for in their product. And since our team is global, we can see that on a global level. So when they're looking for a risk management platform and we look at certain product features, we know what to hone in on and what not to hone in on because we can track in responsive the number of times these occurrences come up. And we can take that tracking data and report it back to leadership, who then takes it and helps them refine their decision making process when they determine the strategic roadmap for the organization going forward. We're no longer this wheelhouse where we're cranking out proposal after proposal after proposal, but sharing our wisdom helps impact growth and change. I'll give you two examples of how this is. We noticed that customers were starting to send custom AI contract agreements, and we're all emerging together in this whole AI world. And our legal team didn't really want to touch it. They didn't know how they felt about these contracts. But it was definitely something that we said, okay, this is important to customers. So instead of using their paper, perhaps we should have our own AI paper and maybe add some AI clauses into our EULA, our end license agreement. And that worked. The legal team has taken that under advisement, said this is what customers are asking. We have to find a way to address this in a way that's comfortable for our company and our organization. So let's update our MSA to include some AI content. Or another example is marketing campaigns. We have a separate marketing department and they come up with buzzwords all the time. And we get to see when the customer sends us their proposal, which of those words resonated. That's our phrase. And they're spewing it back to us. So that to me says that's effective product messaging. But if we don't see those buzzwords, we know what needs more work. And that helps our marketing department fine tune their campaigns and determine where to zero in on and what campaigns were successful.
You started to touch on AI, even in just the example, Vicky, that you shared and how it's impacting your business. I think we all recognize that AI is no savior. It's a massive opportunity. But if anyone out there were to say, managing your knowledge base just doesn't even matter now in the age of I think we would all have some choice words for you all. So I'll hand it back to our rock stars here. What is your hot take on the relationship and that dynamic between your knowledge base and AI?
I think failing to recognize that our knowledge base drives the AI is really scary. It's not a place that you can afford to miss. Those governance and controls that you put around AI are super important. Um, it's definitely something, since we're a client-facing part of the organization, we really can't afford to not have solid vetted answers. So the AI being able to speed up our time is wonderful, but I can't just have it giving me any answer. It needs to be the answer. And we really trust that the AI built into Responsive does that for us.
Let's just put this out there. I want to call out the elephant in the room. AI is not taking over our jobs, it's only changing them. We're evolving into becoming content creators, content curators. We are the conductors who are driving the AI train. And I know the hesitation that many people face when they use AI is on security. They're afraid that their data is going to go up into the cloud, into this shared brain trust, and will not keep your information secure within the confines of your infrastructure. Internal AI machine learning tools, like what Responsive has, leverage your content within your infrastructure. They don't go out into a cloud like ChatGPT. Your data stays secure. And coming from a cybersecurity company, that was a very important decision that we were looking at when we were deciding if we were going to go forward with AI tools. But with that said, your AI output is only as good as the content that you feed it. If you don't have strong content in your library, if your tagging is not set up, if it's inaccurate, or if you don't give it the right prompts to get the output you want, it's not going to work for you very well.
Yep. Well, Vicky, I think you've got a big credibility badge coming from the cybersecurity industry, and look, data centers also have a pretty high bar in the way you're looking at trust and security. I think the thing that's clear here is that AI without that underlying trusted, vetted knowledge base can actually be more of a liability to your business, and that's something that we can all take to heart and recognize as you're out there deploying it, which is where we're kind of going next, because both of you have been real champions and trailblazers for AI at your organizations. I would love to hear really how you made the case to bring it in and the impact that you're seeing so far.
Well, volumes have been exploding as far as RFPs on my end of the world, given data centers. We were only resourced to support North America. And as our cohorts around the globe saw the tools we were using and the just speed to getting that RFP out the door and making it consistent, they all said, "Ooh, we want that too." And the ability to bring that to them has really been cornerstone by bringing on the AI. So the simple equation was, if we want to make this available worldwide, I need the AI. And if we want to keep pace with what's going on in our industry, I need the AI. Because clients were used to giving us weeks to respond back to their RFPs or RFIs. Now I'm lucky if I get 5 days. And I'm sure that's the same for a lot of the people listening today. Customer timelines have changed radically. And they're likely using AI to evaluate the RFPs that we submit. So it doesn't seem unreasonable for us to also be using that same tool on the front end.
I think what you're saying, Sheryl, is this is the easiest business case you've ever made because you don't really have a choice. But you've also learned some things as you've rolled it out, and it's not an overnight success.
No, and we've found that our database was set up for humans, and as humans, we could differentiate the information correctly, no problem. It was very easy. But as I started testing the AI against it, it was bringing up more information than what I was actually looking for. So we tend to do things in a one-to-many ratio of our Q&A database. So we're now taking it one-to-one and utilizing the hierarchical tags that are available and trying to get it down to a very simple case of the AI being able to find exactly what I'm looking for and nothing else. And in doing that, we've found that without responsive, folks, 150 question RFP was taking about 8 days to do it manually without responsive at all. With responsive, I can usually get that done in about 4. With the AI, we're talking hours. And that's with reviewing what the AI has brought back to me. So we've gone from weeks to days to hours. And that is huge when you're trying to go global, because now I have so much more time to invest in gathering data from our various regions, getting people onboarded, and really making sure that that data is tight and clean.
Yeah. Yeah, what I'm hearing is the market is evolving and you've been able to really baseline and show the impact as you move through these various stages from manual to responsive to now with AI in the platform. And wow, from weeks to days to hours is pretty incredible, but also what it takes to stay in the game today with what you're seeing from your customers. Now, Vicky, I know you've really just taken the plunge in with AI, and I want to put the contrast out there. I would call Sheryl, you did a lot of thorough testing. You might be called a toe dipper, if you will, and Vicky just went into the Arctic lake and started swimming. So, so Vicky, tell us a little bit about your journey and how you've been able to drive that impact as you've rolled out AI.
Sure. We got into the beta version of Responses AI last fall, and we just jumped right in. Our database also is one to many, and we've learned along the way. And we're like, okay, this is something we need to clean up to make it more of a one to one relationship. One to many works for great for humans, like Cheryl said, but not so much for robots like our AI. We jumped right in. We started going back to clean things up because our response time, we noticed, even with inconsistent information, was still improving. So what would take us, I think we have the same timeline, what would take us maybe 5 to 7 days was now taking about 3 to 4 days with a clunky AI. And now that we have it more streamlined, we've trained ourselves on how to do prompts to help guide the AI on what we're looking for, that we're now cranking them out in a matter of hours, which is great because our year over year volume increases by 20% or 25%, I'm sorry, each year. And we do all of that while we're sustaining a 70% win rate. And just so you know, the industry average is about 30% while we continue to pursue more opportunities.
I love that. And, truly, winning is a team sport. The fact that you're able to take on more for the business and work with all these stakeholders is really doing a lot for the company. It's doing a lot for your career. And so when I think through really the transformation that you both have been driving, I think to me it's AI isn't a choice anymore. And whether you're a little more cautious as you wade into the waters, or it's more of that trial by fire, the punchline is just do it. You will learn. There will be this virtuous cycle as you understand how you might need to go back and look at your knowledge base to make AI that much more effective. And at the end of the day, time savings, it's a door opener. But what you do when that door is open is drive more growth with greater personalization, with better upfront strategy, and frankly, make it more sustainable for your teams to do the best work and not burn the midnight oil, which I think we can all get behind. Well, Vicky, Sheryl, thank you so much. This has been truly incredible. I appreciate you sharing all of your insight with this community, and you have really proven to be the rock stars that I know you are. I so look forward to seeing how you will continue to top the charts in the way you're driving and scaling strategic response management and AI across your business. Thank you so much. Woo. Mm. Woo.